My brother thought I was a failure until he realized who had paid his salary. Growing up, Josh always made me feel like garbage. While I spent hours in my room streaming video games and editing YouTube videos, he was studying engineering and reminding everyone how much smarter he was than me. Every single family dinner turned into the Josh show. Mom would ask about my streaming, and Josh would jump in with comments like, "Liam's still playing pretend while real people solve actual problems." I started streaming when I was 15, just messing around with some friends playing games after school. Nobody watched at first, maybe 3 viewers on a good day, but I kept going because I actually loved it. Josh would walk past my door during late-night streams and shake his head like I was wasting my life. He'd tell our parents I was addicted to screens and needed to get serious about my future. When Josh graduated college with his engineering degree, our whole family threw him a party. Aunts and uncles kept asking what I was doing, and Josh would answer for me with his stupid smirk. "Oh, Liam's still trying to make it as a professional video game player." Everyone would laugh like it was the funniest joke they'd ever heard. But while Josh was bragging, I was actually building something. I learned how to code custom overlays for my streams. I figured out how to edit videos that people actually wanted to watch. I started selling merchandise to my growing community. I even created automated chatbots that other streamers wanted to buy. Josh never bothered asking about any of this stuff because he already decided I was a loser. By the time Josh got his first job at a tech company called Pixel Dynamics, I was pulling in around $40,000 every month. Yeah, every month. Between sponsorships, subscriber donations, merchandise sales, and the software I was selling to other creators, I was making more money than Josh ever dreamed of, but I never told anyone in my family because they wouldn't believe me anyway. Josh loved his new job. He'd come to family gatherings talking about all the important projects he was working on, how his company was launching new products, how they were partnering with content creators for marketing campaigns. "We're working with real influencers now," he'd say, looking right at me. "People with actual audiences who can move product." One day, Josh called me super excited. His company was launching some new gaming headset, and they wanted to sponsor a mid-level content creator for the campaign. He was part of the team handling the partnership. "We're looking for someone with maybe 50,000 followers," he said. "Someone who actually knows about gaming gear, not like those fake influencers who just read scripts." I knew exactly what campaign he was talking about because my manager had been in talks with Pixel Dynamics for 3 weeks. Except my manager was just me using a different email address and a fake name. I'd been negotiating the contract details, the payment terms, all of it. Josh had no idea he was trying to convince his company to hire his little brother. The meeting was scheduled for Friday afternoon. Josh spent the whole week talking about how he was going to seal the deal with this creator and prove his worth to the marketing department. He practiced his pitch on our mom, explaining why this partnership would be perfect for both sides. Friday came. Josh logged into the Zoom call with his boss and 2 other marketing people. I was sitting in my room, waiting. Josh started his introduction, talking about how excited they were to work together, how this creator was exactly what they needed for their target audience. Then I turned on my camera. Josh's face went completely white. His mouth just hung open like a fish. His boss asked if something was wrong because Josh had stopped talking mid-sentence. "No," Josh said, his voice cracking. This is perfect." I couldn't help myself. "Hey Josh, should I pretend to be surprised?" His boss looked confused. Josh had to explain that I was his brother, the one he'd been calling a failure for years. Except now his boss was staring at my analytics, seeing my subscriber count, my engagement rates, my monthly view numbers, all stuff that Josh had never bothered looking up. The meeting went great. I signed the contract for way more money than Josh makes in 6 months.
I went on vacation with my friend and her family, and they kicked me out. I got my own room and stayed. So me and my best friend Jenna had been planning this beach trip to Ocean City for like 3 months. Her parents said I could come along since we'd been friends since middle school, and they basically considered me family. Her mom even told my mom, "Don't worry about paying for anything. We got it covered." I was so excited because my family never goes anywhere cool. The first 2 days were amazing. We hung out on the beach, went to the boardwalk, ate way too much pizza. Jenna's little brother Kyle was being annoying as usual, but whatever. Her parents seemed happy to have me there and kept saying stuff like, "It's so nice having you with us." Then on day 3, everything went sideways. We were at this mini golf place and Jenna started acting weird, like really quiet and giving me these looks. I asked if she was okay and she just shrugged. Her mom noticed too and asked what was wrong. That's when Jenna exploded. She started yelling about how I was hogging all the attention and how her parents liked me more than her. She said I was being fake nice to get on their good side and that I was ruining her family vacation. I literally had no idea what she was talking about. I was just being myself. Her dad tried to calm her down, but she kept going. She said she didn't want me there anymore and that I should just go home. Her mom looked super uncomfortable and kept apologizing to me. But Jenna was crying and making this huge scene in front of everyone at the mini golf place. When we got back to the hotel, Jenna's parents pulled me aside. Her dad was like, "We're really sorry, but maybe it would be best if you went home early. Jenna's clearly upset and we don't want this to ruin the rest of the trip for everyone." Her mom looked like she felt terrible, but she nodded along. I was honestly shocked. Like, I get that Jenna was upset, but I didn't do anything wrong. I called my mom crying and she was pissed. She was like, "Absolutely not. You're not coming home because of Jenna's tantrum. We already paid for your part of this trip." That's when I remembered something. The hotel reservation was actually under my mom's name because she had some rewards points that made it cheaper. Jenna's family was just paying her back for their portion. So technically, I had just as much right to be there as they did. I went back to their room and knocked on the door. Jenna's dad answered and I could hear them all talking inside. I took a deep breath and said, "Look, I understand Jenna doesn't want me here, but my mom paid for part of this hotel room too. I'm not leaving." You should have seen their faces. Jenna's mom was like, "Wait, what do you mean your mom paid?" So I explained about the reservation and the rewards points. Her dad got out his phone and started looking at the booking confirmation. Turns out my mom had paid for the entire first 2 nights up front, and they were supposed to reimburse her when they got there. But with all the excitement, they just forgot. So I literally had more claim to that room than anyone. Jenna came out of the bathroom and saw me still standing there. She was like, "Why are you still here?" I told her about the payment situation and that I wasn't going anywhere. She got even more mad and started yelling again about how I was being petty and ruining everything. Her parents were in this super awkward position. They couldn't exactly kick me out of a room I helped pay for, but Jenna was threatening to lock herself in the bathroom for the rest of the trip if I stayed. Finally, her dad was like, "Okay, new plan. We'll get a second room for the rest of the week. Jenna can choose who she wants to room with." I figured she'd obviously choose her parents and I'd be stuck alone. But then her little brother Kyle spoke up. He was like, "Can I room with her? Jenna's been mean to me all week too." Apparently, Jenna had been taking out her weird jealousy on everyone, not just me. So that's how I ended up sharing a hotel room with a 10-year-old for the rest of the vacation. Kyle turned out to be way more fun than his sister anyway. We ordered room service, watched movies, and he taught me how to play some card game his friend showed him. What's the strangest rule your family had that made no sense until you learned the real reason? Growing up, my family had this weird rule that nobody was allowed to open the fridge after 9 p.m. Not just like a, hey, maybe don't snack late thing, but actually locked. Every night, my dad would put this big padlock on the fridge door like it was Fort Knox or something. As a kid, I thought my parents were just crazy health freaks. They'd always say stuff like, late night eating is bad for your stomach, or your body needs time to rest. I'd roll my eyes every time. All my friends thought it was hilarious when they found out. Like, who locks a fridge? I remember so many nights sneaking into the kitchen for a glass of water or leftover pizza, only to find that stupid padlock staring me in the face. I'd just stand there frustrated, listening to my stomach growl. When I asked why we couldn't just have willpower instead of a literal lock, my parents always gave me the same annoying answer. You'll understand when you're older. The worst part was having friends over. They'd want midnight snacks during sleepovers, and I'd have to explain why our fridge was locked up like it contained government secrets. Some kids thought we were poor and hiding empty shelves. Others thought my parents were controlling freaks. I started making excuses to hang out at other people's houses instead. When I turned 18 and went off to college, I finally experienced the freedom of a 24/7 accessible fridge. It was amazing. No locks, no rules, just food whenever I wanted it. I thought my family was just weird and I'd escaped their crazy restrictions forever. But during winter break my freshman year, something strange happened. I came home around 10 p.m. and noticed my dad had forgotten to put the padlock on. For the first time in my life, I could actually grab something from the fridge after 9. I quietly opened it, grabbed a Coke, and went to my room feeling like I'd won the lottery. The next morning, my mom looked pale as a ghost. "Did you open the fridge last night after 9?" she asked in this worried voice. I laughed and said, "Yeah, finally got to experience normal fridge access." But instead of laughing with me, she just whispered, "Please don't do that again." I thought she was being paranoid about her old rules, so I brushed it off. But a few nights later, I was up late studying and heard weird noises from the kitchen. I crept downstairs to check it out, thinking maybe we had mice or something. What I saw confused the hell out of me. My dad was standing in front of the fridge in his pajamas, just staring at it. But he wasn't getting food or anything. He was whispering to himself, almost like he was having a conversation with someone who wasn't there. His eyes looked glassy and unfocused. I watched for like 5 minutes, totally freaked out, until he just turned around and walked back upstairs like nothing happened. The next morning, he seemed totally normal, eating breakfast and reading the newspaper like always. I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I finally confronted him. "Dad, what were you doing in the kitchen last night?" He looked confused and asked what I meant. When I described what I saw, his face went completely white. That's when my parents finally told me the truth. My dad has had severe sleepwalking problems since before I was born. Not just normal sleepwalking where you wander around harmlessly, dangerous sleepwalking where he'd do things that could hurt himself or our family. The worst incident happened when I was just a baby. My dad sleepwalked into the kitchen, opened the fridge, and ate almost an entire package of raw chicken. He woke up the next day violently sick with food poisoning, with absolutely no memory of eating anything. My mom found chicken wrapper and blood on the kitchen counter and thought we'd been robbed. Another time, he sleepwalked and tried to cook pancakes at 3 a.m. while completely unconscious. He turned the stove on, poured batter in a pan, then just walked away. My mom woke up to smoke filling the house and found the kitchen almost on fire. She had to shake him awake while he stood there confused, asking why she was panicking. The fridge lock wasn't about controlling my late night snacking. It was about keeping my dad from potentially poisoning himself or burning our house down during his sleepwalking episodes. The 9 p.m. rule was when his episodes usually started, so locking the fridge became their safety system. My parents never explained it because they didn't want me growing up scared of my own dad or thinking he was dangerous. They just wanted to keep everyone safe without traumatizing their kid.